My dad is a junior, I am not. If I name my son after him, is it valid to call him the third 3 foot? Say my dad's name is Matt Jr., and my name is Mac. Can I name my son Matt 3? Or is it not like that? Yes. This is also where the nickname Skip comes from. The name skipping a generation. My parents just did whatever the hell they wanted. I'm named after my father, but I am the 2, not junior. I'm from Kentucky and anyone with junior is junior. My parents didn't want that, so made me a second. Honestly, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, as some databases just append the 2 to the end of my surname X, Crandonii. I was a very frequent flyer on an airline and they would greet me when I boarded, "Welcome aboard, Mr. Crandonii." I eventually stopped bothering to try and explain and just became Italian. Don't know why I'm telling y'all this. Yes, that's technically correct. Technically you can call your son whatever the fuck you want. Add a 24 on there if you want, no one's checking. Well, the King of England is Charles III. And Charles I did in 1649, Charles II in 1685. Edit: Charles I died. Dead. Oops. It used to be awesome, but for the love of God, please do not give your kid a junior, 2, 3 name. With electronic databases, they all use suffixes differently, some combine with last name, some have separate fields, etc. It is a nightmare when dealing with any government agency, foreign travel, banking system, tax system, etc. You will save your kid hundreds of hours of work, frustration, and cursing by not doing this. Obviously shared from bitter, practical experience. Are they in line to a throne? Ask George Foreman. Are people really putting junior, 2, or 3 on their kids' birth certificate and in official databases? In which country? Never seen that in my entire life. IMO, you can call your son junior, 3. Or whatever, but don't put it in his official name. As a person named the same as my grandfather, with my father only having a different middle name, I ask you to reconsider doing this to your child. It's not nice, or fun, for me, even though both are long dead. I really don't get the whole calling everyone the same name. You will always have in mind that at some point, both your mum and gran have screamed your name while getting pleasured. There are many names out there, just pick a different one for your child. No JRS, no seniors, no regnal numbers. Don't put your child in your shadow. I just want to point out that you can name your own children anything at all. If George Foreman named 5 of his sons George Jr. 6, you're not going to raise eyebrows with a Skippy name away. Only if you are a king. Kids deserve their own name. Interesting question. It has to be the entire name, but technically it seems like that's probably correct. You can do whatever you want, there are no laws or rules on how you name your kids as long as the name is not offensive. I have seen that taken to court. What kind of person names your kid after yourself? Never understood that. My great-grandfather was named William. My grandfather was named George. My father was named William II. I was named William III. My son was named William IV. However, if my son were to name his son William, he would be Junior. Numerals with names aren't like kings or popes, but are used to clarify different generations of a family that share the same names. Since both my father and great-grandfather have died, I no longer use the third with my name except for legal matters where my full name is required. Even royal houses don't use numerals in daily life, but if you want to be pretentious, be my guest. Please don't. There are so many names to choose from, don't make it a pitta for your son. Can someone explain like I'm 5 what's the deal with these kind of names in the US? Is this a common thing to have a Roman numeral in your name, like a king? Is it part of your official full name? You can name your kid anything you want. You could call him Led Zeppelin 4 if you want. Fuck that. Call him Mac the Knife. My son is a 3. It is on his birth certificate. I was a junior. When my father died, I became a 2. Gardner Minshew 3 is not actually the II'd. He's the first, but his dad thought it sounded better. Name your kid whatever you'd like. Are you royalty or an American? You should not worry about formalities of the English language and name your son Tomahawk. As an Aussie, I find the entire premise to be cringe. Imagine asking your mate Tony Jr. the third to shout a beer. Why do Americans do this? Is it that hard to give a kid his own name? Give your son his own name. If he's 3, the third, I guarantee he will be called the turd by other kids. It also leads to less confusion than 3 people with the same name. Yes. Yes, because he's the third. You can name him anything you want. You can literally name him anything you want. Just a warning, my brother is a third. But as kids, we called him the turd instead. Yeah, I am the third 3 on my license. My grandfather was Junior and my father has a different middle name. All 4 of us have the same first and last name. Be a rebel, call him the 69th, don't give a shit about convention. Please don't. That's how it's always worked. It doesn't need to be an unbroken chain. One of my sons is a 2 because I named him after my father. This is interesting, and I've never thought about it like that. I'm the 3rd generation with our names, but instead of the junior or the third being used, my grandfather is called Richard, my father is called Rick, and I'm Richie, not our actual names, but you get the gist of it. Names are arbitrarily declared, they don't require sequentiality. This is how it's supposed to work. You are a junior when you're directly named after your father, but if you're named after someone but not directly, then you are the 2nd, or 3rd, or etc. Yes. As someone who does genealogy, I have often seen people do this. My cousin was named Rob Jr. He was named after his dad. He changed his name to Rob Jr. after his maternal grandpa dead before his birth after a divorce at 10-12 YO. He had a son and named him Rob Jr., exact same name as him. He just started calling and signing himself as Rob Sr. without a legal name change. It has been about 20 years without any legal repercussions. The story is probably irrelevant. I just wanted to tell it. Pronounce the Irish way, the turd. Yes, it is legit. I was named after my father and my mother, but that's only because they were both already named so long before I was even born. I'm the II'th, yes, that's what it says on my birth certificate. LOL, do what you want. Is it true that they also have to have the same middle name for it to be a valid I-2-3? My son is the 3rd but doesn't even have the same middle name as his father. LOLIDK, it gets confusing for me. You're not European royalty, there's no rules for you. Well, if naming a child junior is making the same mistake twice, is the 3 thrice? I'd call my son Matt. Period. I don't like seniors or juniors or 3s. I wouldn't want to be any of those. And I wouldn't saddle my son with one. Went to school with brothers who shared the same name as their dad. The older brother was Junior, and the younger one 3. I always thought that was weird. Pretty sure you can name your kid anything you want. Name him Fundispar Oglethorpe 19 if you so choose. I highly doubt the hospital is going to look at the birth certificate after you write down Matt 3 and be like, SHHHH sir, we apologize, but since you're not Matt Jr., you are not allowed to name your child this, it's against hospital policy.